Hello, I welcome you for the video session on a very important topic, methods of catalyst regeneration. It is very important aspect in case of the catalytic process where the economy of the process may be affected because of the frequent deactivation of the catalyst and inability to regain or regenerate the catalyst. So let us understand first the basic terminologies related to a catalyst. First parameter is a activity of catalyst. So it represents the accelerating effect of the catalyst to catalyze the particular reaction. Mathematically, it is the ratio of rate constant in case of the catalytic reaction to the non-catalytic reaction. Another is deactivation of the catalyst. So, with every catalyst use, the activity or the performance of the catalyst may be reduced, and this is known as the deactivation of the catalyst, or say when that performance drops to a unacceptable level, then we say that the catalyst is deactivated and the phenomenon is known as deactivation. So once the catalyst is deactivated, we have got three options. Number one is depending upon or there are three reasons because of which the deactivation can occur. First is fouling, another is poisoning, and third is sintering. Now in case of sintering, we can hardly do anything rather than recovery of the precious catalytic component, which may be used for other purposes or which can be recovered. However, for first two, it is certainly possible to reactivate the catalyst. Now what are the typical strategy adopted? Regeneration and reuse. Use it for other application. Reclaim and recycle the important and or expensive catalytic components when the noble metals like platinum and silver are used, and discard the catalyst if no other option is possible, but that is the last resort. The first is regeneration of catalyst fouled by the coke. So the catalyst can be deactivated. The catalyst deactivated because of the fouling can be regenerated by the gasification of the carbonaceous deposit by contacting it with oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and water vapor. However, this temperature required may vary for depending upon what kind of the gas we are using for the reactivation, the structure of carbon deposited and activity of catalyst. It is seen that the regeneration of the fouled catalyst with these gases is generally exothermic, and therefore it is to be the rate of the reaction during the regeneration to be controlled in order to prevent the activity loss due to the sintering. Sintering is a localized melting of the pore and the shrinking of the catalyst because of the exposure to very high temperature. We can also control the sintering by properly maintaining the oxygen concentration. Normally it is kept low in the beginning and progressively increase. Sometimes it is possible to use the steam as a diluent in order to reduce the oxygen concentration. Another or just the continuation is we can accelerate the rate of coke or carbon gasification by using catalyst. Generally, the catalytic reactivation or the regeneration processes occurs at a lower temperature of 400 to 600 compared to 800 for the uncatalyzed reactions. Generally, air is used for regeneration rather than steam or other gases, and to control the reaction, air should be diluted with nitrogen or other appropriate diluent. Another is regeneration of catalyst deactivated by the poisoning. Now, what is poisoning? Poisoning is the loss of activity of the catalyst because of the strong adsorption of the feed or product impurities. Generally, poisoning of nickel, platinum, silver, copper may occur by a compound like compound of sulfur, nitrogen and halide. So, what are the different methods available? The first method is treatment with the steam. Now, when it is say for example, nickel poisoned with sulfur is when treated with the steam, it forms nickel oxide plus H2S, but this H2S is again poison, and therefore it is again treated with the steam to form the sulfur dioxide and hydrogen. Now, nickel oxide is further reduced to obtain the nickel metallic component, or to obtain the pure nickel metal, which is used again as a catalyst. Another is treatment of poisoned catalyst with air. Now, air is more simple to use, maybe in terms of economy also. However, than the steam. However, when air is used, it is the sintering of the catalyst is possible. Therefore, we have to control the rate of regeneration reaction when in presence of air. When nickel is poisoned with carbon monoxide or hydrogen cyanide, it is possible to reactivate it or regenerate it with hydrogen. Then the treatment of the poisoned material with oxidizing agents like KMNO4 or sodium hypochlorite. The next method of regeneration is by chemical treatment. Even though it is at number 3, but I suppose it is the first option followed in case of the regeneration. Generally, we may try to regenerate it with a solvent if the impurities are soluble. If not, then the other chemicals can be used for washing of the spent catalyst. They may be acidic or alkaline solutions of hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, or sulfuric acid, sodium hydroxide, oxalic or citric acid. The main objective of the chemical treatment or washing is basically to remove the blockages, open the pores and remove the poisoning material. The next method is regeneration by redispersion of metal crystallite. Now, whenever the metal are dispersed or supported over the support, that is in case of the supported catalyst, the activity is lost because the metal components form the metal clusters. Generally, this is seen in case of the reforming catalyst. Now, the strategy is to break the metal clusters and to redisperse the metal metal components over the entire surface. One of the treatments suggested is oxychlorination. It involves the exposure of deactivated catalyst with chlorine compounds like hydrochloric acid or carbon tetrachloride in presence of 2 to 10% oxygen at 450 to 500 degrees Celsius for the period of 1 to 4 hours. So this result in a redispersion of the metals, which is in the form of metal clusters. When the metal cluster is formed, the active sites are not exposed to the reactant, and as a result of which due to the non-access or due to the reduction in the active sites, the activity lost is there because of the metal cluster formations. And therefore, with reference to the method suggested, that is oxychlorination or other appropriate methods, the regeneration by redispersion of metal crystallite is possible. Now, even though there are some specific methods are reported, it is possible to use some other methods, but again that is the topic of research. So these are the references I have used for preparing the presentation, and they were appropriately mentioned in the each slide also. I hope you must have understood the methods of catalyst regeneration or the different strategies adopted for reusing the catalyst. For more videos like this related to various topics of chemical engineering, you can visit my YouTube channel Praveen Bhandari Nandurdi. I wish you to subscribe it also, and you can forward it to your friends and the other peoples in your network who might be interested in getting more knowledge about the various chemical engineering concepts. Thank you for watching the video, and thank you for subscribing my channel.